Okay guys, so now you have learned Reiki, you love Reiki, and you're probably really keen to share this practice with your friends and family. So just a reminder that the level 1 course that we do is the beginner level. So it's known as a self level where you discover Reiki and you do it for yourself. And level 2 is known as a practitioner level. So that's when you can actually obtain your Reiki insurance and do it as a professional. But you're probably really keen to practice it on your friends and family, and you want to share this beautiful gift with them. So I'm just going to go over a few things that you might do, like having a pre-session chat. So before you just get straight into the Reiki, you want to have a talk to them first. So the idea about this chat is just to make them feel really comfortable with you and comfortable with the experience that they're about to have. So if you just get them straight onto the table and begin Reiki, it's really not going to be a really fantastic session because they're not actually sure what it is that's about to happen. So firstly, when they come in, you might just like to ask them, why did they come in today? What is it that they would like to get out of the session? And just allow them to talk and just really listen to what it is that they might have to say. So for example, they might say, I've got a problem in my neck, I've got a sore and stiff neck. So that's a really great piece of information because it means that you can just focus on this area a little bit more. I once had a lady who came in and she told me that her neck was sore. So I did a lot of work around the top half of her body, and then obviously also did the torso as well, but sort of kept coming back to that neck area. And I also knew just to be really gentle there, just to, as we always are with the neck, but just to really go gentle with that area. So ask them what they're there for. They'll give you some tips as to why, which will be able to help you with that session. And also just remember that Reiki goes wherever it needs to be. So it's got an intelligence of its own. So even if you are working on the head and the neck area, it might be channeling down through to their heart or to their solar plexus as well. So just trust that the Reiki energy is going wherever it needs to go. And also use your intuition. So someone might have told you that they've got a sore neck, but you feel, actually, I need to go down to their heart and work on their heart chakra. So just use your intuition and go wherever you need to go. That's the best way to do a session. So you ask them what they've come in for. You also ask them, have they had Reiki before? You'll find in this day and age, a lot of people actually have already had Reiki. And if they have, that makes your job so much easier. So they already know what to expect. I always like to tell them that every single session you have is different, and it's going to feel different with every practitioner as well. So I still go into detail about what it is that they might experience, because every single session is going to be different for them. And if they haven't had Reiki, I explain that it's a universal energy. So Rei is universal and Ki is energy. So the energy that I'm using isn't actually my own. It comes from the universe, and I'm able just to tap into that, and it flows through me and it goes to that person. So quite often we get blocks in our energy, and all we need is just a little bit of a healing session just to open those energy channels up, release the blocks, and allow that energy to flow again. So I just let them know that they're going to be feeling really great and amazing after we've worked through whatever blockages they have in the energetic system. And then I also like to let them know a little bit about what it is that they might be feeling throughout the Reiki session. So there's all different types of sensations. Some people might get every single one of them, or some people might only get, say, one or two. So it's going to be different for every single person. But I do let them know that they might fall asleep in the session. So if they snore, that's perfectly okay, because sometimes people feel really self-conscious about that. I also let them know that they might have just quick or sudden muscle movements, twitching. And I just allow them to know that that's just the energy moving through their body. So not to worry if they find that they're moving about. They might also experience warm energy, like a really warm sensation coming from the person's hands, or it could be a cool sensation. Sometimes people experience both hot and cold. Sometimes people see colours, different types of colours. Not always, but some people do. Some people might feel a little bit of pain. So, for example, if you go to have a massage, of course you're going to be feeling a little bit of pain as they're working through the knots. But then once it's worked through, they're going to feel better after that. They might also just feel really, really relaxed and calm. They might receive different messages every now and then. That can happen as well. And it's just best to let them know to just expect the unexpected. They also might have little tummy rumbles. So when our muscles start to relax, and the tension can be released, sometimes this can happen in our stomach, making little grumbles. Now, a lot of people like to justify it by saying, oh, it's because I've just had lunch, or I'm about to have lunch, or that must be my food digesting. People will say that, but you know that it's got to do with the Reiki energy moving through them. So you just give a really brief description of all of them, because you don't want people to attach to the idea of saying, oh, well, why didn't I see colours, or you don't want them to think, oh my God, pain, and that's all they're thinking about is they're going to be pain, like having pain in this treatment. So just kind of make it really broad, really easygoing, and just make them feel really relaxed, and give them some water as well before the session and also after the session, and particularly after. It's so important that they rehydrate. Just get them to drink lots, and not to do too much after their healing session, because they really just want time to be able to absorb that beautiful energy. And just ask me if they've got any questions. Sometimes I just have a little chat about the weather or whatever it is, just to really put that person at ease. Now, also explain that Reiki is a hands-off and hands-on modality. Now, quite often I personally use my intuition with this. So I predominantly have a lot of female clients, and not all of the clients like for you to put their hands around their stomach area, because sometimes that can be a little bit uncomfortable for females. So if I'm feeling like their energy is saying, no, I don't want you to put my hands on, I just kind of put it close to their belly, and it just really depends. I use my intuition, but I let them know it's hands on, hands off. Obviously not on the private areas, or we don't want to be putting hands like on people's faces. It's not very comfortable, and also just very gentle around that neck area. And just really go with however it is that they feel, but also just come in and be really confident about what you're doing, because if you sort of say, so it's kind of like hands on or hands off, like it just depends, and you don't want to be sort of awkward about it. You want them to feel really comfortable. Sometimes people find that they like to have a little blanket over them, or even just like a little sheet or something, or a nice little cotton blanket. So something just to keep them a little bit cozy as well. And just let them know just to keep their eyes closed. And a lot of the time we have to tell people, don't try to do anything. So, for example, I have this one client that comes in, and I know that they're concentrating on their breath. So they're really good at meditating, but they're constantly just focusing on that. So anytime that they start to sort of drift off and relax, they bring their awareness back to their breath, and they sort of come out of that really beautiful Reiki bubble, and they're bringing their awareness back to their breath. Or sorry, it sometimes doesn't really help. You just want them, just tell them just to surrender, relax, enjoy. Just go with it. Just enjoy the sensations. Don't have to try to do anything. This is your time for you to nourish yourself. And just enjoy the experience. Keep your eyes closed. And once you've told them all that, get them up on the table and get yourself centered and ready with the Reiki sweep and the dry bathing. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope this helps for your sessions.